The last trick or treat. In the town of Black Hollow, Halloween was never just a festival. It was a warning. People who didn't live there thought it was charming. A small town wrapped in fog, orange lights glowing softly in windows, children running through leaf-covered streets. But those who were born in Black Hollow knew the truth. They knew that Halloween night was not meant to be celebrated. It was meant to be survived. No one talked openly about what happened every year. There were no newspaper headlines, no official records. Yet everyone knew that when October ended, one child would be missing. Always a child, always on Halloween night, and always without a trace, except for one thing: a pumpkin bucket. I learned that truth too late. I was 16 when it happened, old enough to understand fear, young enough to underestimate it. My parents had gone out of town unexpectedly, leaving me in charge of my little brother Sam. He was 8 years old, full of excitement, his eyes shining brighter than the jack-o'-lanterns he carved weeks in advance. Sam loved Halloween the way some children love birthdays. He talked about it every day in October. He planned his costume carefully, practiced his trick-or-treat voice in front of the mirror, and counted his candy bags like treasure. I loved him more than anything. That was why I didn't see the danger clearly enough. By late afternoon on October 31st, the air had already changed. It was colder than it should have been, sharp enough to sting your lungs. Fog curled around the streets like something alive, sliding between houses and clinging to the ground. The town felt quieter than usual, as if it were holding its breath. Sam didn't notice. He never did. He wore a skeleton costume that was too big for him, the white bones glowing faintly in the dim light. In his hand, he carried an orange plastic bucket shaped like a skull. "Can we go early?" he asked, bouncing on his heels. "Just stay close to me," I said. "And don't knock on any doors without asking." He nodded, already half distracted by the sound of distant laughter. As we walked through the neighborhood, something felt wrong. Porch lights were fewer than usual. Curtains were drawn tight. Some houses had candy bowls left outside, untouched, as if the owners didn't want to open their doors at all. Adults smiled too tightly when they handed out candy. Their eyes flicked nervously down the street, always toward the same direction: Lantern Road. At the far end of that road stood the house. The house didn't belong to anyone. It never had. It was old, older than the town itself, according to rumors. Its wood was blackened with age, its windows cracked or boarded, its roof sagging like a tired spine. No decorations ever appeared on it, yet every Halloween night, something changed. A single light, a single jack-o'-lantern, and a door that opened by itself. Every missing child's pumpkin bucket had been found on its porch the next morning. "Can we go down there?" Sam asked suddenly, pointing toward Lantern Road. My heart skipped. "No," I said quickly. "We're not going that way." "Why not?" "Because it's not safe." Sam frowned. "It's just a house." I wanted to tell him the truth. I wanted to explain that some places remember things, and some doors don't lead where they should. But how do you explain that to an 8-year-old? So I lied. We continued trick-or-treating, but Sam's excitement slowly faded. He kept looking back toward the end of the street, as if something there was calling to him. I told him we'd go home soon, that he had plenty of candy. "Just one more house," he begged. That's when the light turned on. At the very end of Lantern Road, The porch light of the old house flickered to life. The jack-o'-lantern appeared on the steps, its grin carved too wide, its eyes too deep. The front door creaked open slowly, revealing nothing but darkness. A voice drifted out, soft and inviting. "Trick or treat," Sam gasped. "They're giving candy!" Before I could react, he ran. "Sam, wait!" I shouted, chasing after him, panic flooding my chest. He reached the porch first and stopped suddenly. I followed, my breath ragged, and saw what had frozen him in place. Buckets. Dozens of them lined the porch steps and floor. Some were cracked, some melted, some stained dark with something I didn't want to identify. Names were scratched into the plastic. Names I recognized from school photos and old memorial posts. Sam looked up at me, confusion replacing excitement. That's when the hand came out of the darkness. It was long and pale, the fingers bending the wrong way, nails black and sharp. It wrapped around Sam's wrist with terrifying strength and pulled. Sam screamed. I grabbed him, digging my heels into the porch boards, pulling back with everything I had. The thing hissed, its voice dropping into something deep and ancient. "He knocked," it growled. "He chose." The wood beneath us cracked, my grip slipped. Sam looked at me, fear filling his eyes. And then he was gone. The door slammed shut. The jack-o'-lantern went dark. The house fell silent. I don't remember screaming, but my throat burned for days afterward. I remember the empty street. I remember clutching Sam's bucket, its handle snapped clean through. No one came to help. The police searched for weeks. Dogs refused to approach the house. The official report said Sam had wandered off. That grief had distorted my memory. But the adults of Black Hollow wouldn't look at me. They knew exactly where Sam was. The years that followed blurred together. Therapy, questions, silence. I stayed in Black Hollow when I should have run. Leaving felt like abandoning Sam all over again. Every Halloween, I locked myself inside, lights on, doors barricaded. Still, I dreamed of knocking, of doors opening too wide, of Sam calling my name from somewhere deep and dark. On the 10th anniversary of his disappearance, something changed. On October 30th, I found a note on my doorstep. It was written in messy, childish handwriting. "Don't forget to come tomorrow." My hands shook as I read it. I hadn't told anyone where I lived. I hadn't spoken about Halloween in years. I threw the note away and froze. Inside my trash bin lay a familiar object. Sam's pumpkin bucket. Clean, undamaged, waiting. That night, I made a decision. If the house took my brother, it would have to answer to me. At sunset on Halloween, I walked down Lantern Road alone. The house looked bigger than before, its shadow stretching unnaturally far. The porch light flickered on as I approached. The door opened without a sound. Inside, the air was cold and wet, like breathing underground. Shelves lined the walls, stacked with pumpkin buckets. Hundreds of them, neatly arranged, each labeled with a name. Children stood in the shadows, watching, waiting. At the end of the hallway stood Sam. He looked older, taller. His skeleton costume had fused into his skin, white bones pressed beneath pale flesh. His eyes were hollow, reflecting no light. "Trick or treat?" he asked, his voice layered with something else beneath it. "Sam," I whispered, "I'm here to take you home." The house laughed. "There is no home," it said, "only tradition." It offered me a choice. One stays, one goes. I didn't hesitate. "Take me," I said. "Let him leave." The shadows surged forward, wrapping around my body, pulling me down. Pain tore through me as something cold searched inside my chest. Sam screamed, and for the first time, the thing hesitated. "I remember you," Sam whispered, his real voice breaking through. "You didn't mean to." The house shrieked as the thing inside him was ripped free, dragged screaming into the walls. The door burst open. I woke on the porch at dawn. Sam lay beside me, breathing, shaking, alive. The house stood empty behind us. They called it a miracle, but miracles always have consequences. Sam never talked about what happened inside. He woke screaming at night. He flinched at knocking sounds, and every Halloween the air still changed. The house may have lost that night, but it never forgets. Because somewhere, every year, a child still knocks. And the last trick or treat is never truly the last. The debt that never ends. Black Hollow pretended everything was normal after Sam came back. The town always pretended. They held small smiles, cooked warm meals, and spoke in careful voices, as if kindness could erase what had happened. People called it a miracle, but miracles don't smell like rot, and they don't wake you up screaming at night. Sam came home thinner, quieter, and older in ways no child should be. His eyes no longer followed toys or cartoons. They followed doors, corners, shadows that moved when nothing else did. Sometimes he would sit for hours, staring at the front door, whispering numbers under his breath. When I asked him what the numbers meant, he said, "How many knocks are left?" I stopped asking questions after that. The first sign that the house was not done came in November. I woke up one night to the sound of scratching beneath the floorboards. Slow, patient, like someone trying to find the right place to dig through. I lay frozen in bed, listening as the sound moved from room to room, following the layout of the house with terrifying familiarity. Then came the knock, not loud, not violent. 3 soft taps from inside the walls. I didn't answer. I pressed my hands over my ears and waited for morning, telling myself it was stress, trauma, imagination. But when dawn came, I found muddy footprints leading from the hallway to Sam's bedroom. They stopped at his bed. Sam slept peacefully, smiling. The children of Black Hollow started changing. Teachers noticed it first. Kids zoning out in class, drawing the same picture over and over again. A house at the end of a road, a door wide open, hands reaching out. Some children began knocking on desks unconsciously. Others whispered trick or treat in their sleep. Then one went missing. Not on Halloween. On a random Tuesday afternoon. All that was found was a pumpkin bucket in his locker. That's when I understood the truth. The house didn't need Halloween anymore. Halloween had only been permission. Sam finally told me what happened inside. It wasn't a place. It was a stomach. The walls pulsed like muscle. The air tasted sweet at first, like candy, until it turned bitter and metallic. The children weren't prisoners, they were ingredients. Each knock fed the house, each choice strengthening it. And me? I had broken a rule. Trades were never meant to be reversed. "Something has to stop," Sam whispered one night, tears running silently down his face. "If it can't be me, it will be everyone." The knocking spread. People began hearing it at night, on bedroom doors, inside closets, beneath beds. Some opened their doors without realizing it. Some knocked back. Those people disappeared, not immediately. They faded. Their reflections stopped appearing in mirrors. Their voices sounded wrong on recordings. Then one morning, they simply weren't there anymore, and on their porches sat pumpkin buckets. Adults this time, labeled. Black Hollow tried to burn the house. They gathered one night with gasoline and matches, screaming prayers and apologies. The fire took instantly, too instantly. The flames burned blue and silent, climbing higher than the trees. And then the house knocked back. Every door in town slammed shut at once, windows shattered inward. People screamed as shadows poured from the burning structure, slipping under doors, crawling into mouths, eyes, lungs. By morning, the house stood untouched. The town was smaller. Sam began sleepwalking again. This time, he didn't stop at the front door. I woke to find him outside, barefoot, walking toward Lantern Road, whispering, "Io, Io, Io." I tackled him in the street, holding him as he screamed, not like a child, but like something being pulled apart from the inside. "They marked me," he sobbed. "They counted me." That's when I saw it. A faint symbol carved into his wrist, a tally mark. The house wanted him back, but it would settle for less. The knocks became demands. Every night at midnight, 3 taps echoed through the town. If no one answered, the house took someone anyway. Accidents increased, suicides, sudden illnesses, always followed by a bucket. The tradition had evolved. It no longer waited for permission. I made a decision the night Sam tried to claw his own skin off to let it out. If the house needed a keeper, I would give it one who knew its rules. On the next Halloween, because of course it was Halloween, I walked to Lantern Road alone. The town watched from behind curtains, silent, relieved it wasn't them. The door opened. The house recognized me. "You broke the balance," it said. "You will restore it." I stepped inside willingly. The children watched. The walls breathed, and I smiled. The house thought it was swallowing me, but I had learned something it never expected. Traditions can change, and so can monsters. I knocked from the inside, once, twice, 3 times. The house screamed as it realized too late. A door works both ways. Black Hollow still exists, but Halloween doesn't. There are no knocks anymore, no buckets, no missing children. Sometimes, late at night, people say they hear footsteps beneath the ground, moving away, farther, weaker. And sometimes, when Sam looks at me, his eyes fill with fear, because he knows something stayed in that house, and something else came back, wearing me. The house that learned to hate. The house did not die. It learned. For years after Halloween vanished from Black Hollow, people convinced themselves the curse was over. Children grew older without costumes. October passed like any other month. Doors stayed closed, porches dark. No buckets, no knocking. Silence settled over the town like a hard-earned peace. But silence, I learned, is not the same as safety. Beneath Lantern Road, something still breathed. I stayed. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. The night I went into the house, something fundamental shifted. I did not come back untouched. The thing that had lived off tradition, hunger, and innocence now had something new inside it. Memory, regret, and rage. The house had never known those before. Sam grew into a quiet teenager. He never laughed loudly anymore. He never slammed doors. He never knocked. He avoided mirrors and refused to sleep without the lights on. Sometimes, I caught him watching me when he thought I wasn't looking, his eyes full of a fear deeper than childhood trauma. He knew. He could feel it. The house had let me go, but it hadn't released me. It had marked me. I started hearing it in my blood. A dull, rhythmic sound, wood tapping wood, not 3 knocks, just one, over and over, like a pulse, like a heartbeat that wasn't mine. Doctors said it was stress. They didn't see the splinters under my fingernails when I woke up. They didn't hear the walls whisper my name at night. Lantern Road began to rot. The pavement cracked even in summer. Street lights flickered without reason. Animals refused to cross it. Birds fell silent overhead. Houses nearest the road developed mold that no chemical could remove. People moved away, but the ground stayed warm. Too warm, like something sleeping beneath it. Dreaming. The dreams returned first. Not to me, to the town. People dreamed of doors opening inward, of knocking on their own chests, of children standing in hallways, smiling without eyes. They woke with bruises shaped like fingerprints on their wrists. And always in the dreams, the house was changing. It was smaller, sharper, angrier. The first death happened quietly. A man named Howard, drunk and bitter, walked down Lantern Road one night shouting about ghosts and nonsense. He kicked the ground where the house used to stand and laughed. The earth opened. They found him days later, inside his own walls, folded wrong, fingers worn down to bone as if he had knocked for a very long time. There was no bucket, just splinters in his mouth. That's when I understood. The house no longer wanted children. It wanted punishment. The house remembered the fire, the prayers, the knives of gasoline and fear. It remembered being starved, trapped, mocked, and it remembered me. The one who had changed the rules. It started targeting adults, liars, abusers, cowards, those who had known the truth and done nothing, those who had pushed children forward and locked doors behind them. The knocking returned, but it came from inside people's homes, from closets, from under beds, from behind mirrors, and when someone opened the wrong door. The house took them apart slowly. Sam begged me to leave. "It hates you," he said one night, voice trembling. "It learned hate from you." He wasn't wrong. I had taught it something new that night inside its walls. Choice, and choice creates blame. The town turned on me. They always do when monsters stop behaving predictably. They said I brought it back, that I poisoned it, that I cursed them all by surviving. They left notes on my door, drew symbols they didn't understand on my fence, told Sam he was marked, broken, dangerous. They forgot one thing. The house was listening. Lantern Road collapsed in on itself the night the town gathered to confront me. The ground split like wet wood. Doors appeared along the road, hundreds of them, leading nowhere, everywhere. Knocking thundered from beneath the earth, furious and endless. The house rose, not as a building, but as a shape made of memory and hunger and judgment. And it spoke, not in whispers, in names. People screamed as doors opened behind them, not ahead, behind. Those who had ignored missing posters were pulled through. Those who had blamed children were dragged by their ankles. Those who had stood by in silence were taken last, begging loudest. The house did not rush. Hate is patient. Sam and Irene, the earth tried to follow. The knocking chased us for miles, fading only when the town burned behind us, not with fire, but with absence. Black Hollow folded inward like a closed fist. By morning, it wasn't on any map. People forgot it existed, except us. We live far away now. No trick-or-treaters, no holidays, no doors that face the street. Sam still checks the locks 3 times every night. And me? I listen, because sometimes, very rarely, I hear something far beneath the ground. Not knocking, not anymore. Scratching, like something trying to learn a new way out. The house hates now, and hate doesn't need tradition. It only needs time. So if one night you hear a sound from inside your walls, not asking, not inviting, just angry, don't answer. Because this time, it isn't offering a choice.